got any more?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay.
I got 2 more.
Okay. Here we go. Sucker shit.
So I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
So despite my wide frame, my favorite sport always has been, always will be basketball.
Yes, sir.
So I was doing a little research. I was high.
Okay.
And I was doing a little research. Because, you be thinking about stuff. And I was like, all-time leaders in this and that. So check this out. So in the NBA, all-time scoring, they had to write this down too, was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 38,387 points. Assists, John Stockton, 15,806 assists. Rebounds, Wilt Chamberlain, 23,924, and then block shots, Hakeem Olajuwon, 3,830. That's the NBA all-time leaders in the major categories. So I thought about my own NBA, so the No Bullshit Association. Okay, so in my NBA, okay, the all-time leader in scoring isn't Kareem, it's Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, because they said Wilt in his book, he said he slept with over 50,000 women. Okay, he was scoring like a mug. All right, so now I don't know what officially Wilt died of, but I think it was exhaustion. Sperm depletion. He was out. Okay, he got no nuts left. Now, the all-time leader in my NBA in assists is not one person, it's a group. It's the wingmen. Okay, so for y'all to, well, if you don't know this, whatever, I'm gonna help you. The wingman is the homeboy that goes and jumps on the grenade for his boy so he could get action.
How's that L?
Yes. So say you out, ladies, and you have your handsome friend with you, right? And I have to go occupy your handsome friend while Rennie gets action with you. I am a wingman, and that is an assist. Okay, when it comes to that, I'm Magic Johnson level in assisting. Okay, now the all-time leader in rebounds, okay, is what I like to call the emergency dude. Okay, he's the fire extinguisher. It always sits in the corner in the glass. You don't break it unless it's an emergency. So who is the dude? He's the homeboy that's got all the girlfriends that he ain't messing with, but he's just around. So when I break your heart, in case of emergency, break glass. He gonna catch you on the rebound. Okay, that's the only way he getting laid. Okay, so a little fire extinguisher cat leads the NBA in rebounds, but the last one who leads the league in block shots is your homegirl. That same homegirl from the assist category is at every bar, restaurant, lounge, club, family barbecue, bar mitzvah, quinceañera, pop-up, okay? She's at every opening and closing, standing next to you, stopping your action. You meet a girl, you vibing, you talking, and oh, here come old Hakeem. You know, she gonna block that shot. Oh, it's time for us to go. I was like, if you don't get your handsome ass away from us right now, okay? So the league leader in block shots is Keisha. Sorry if your name is Keisha, that's just the name I gave you, okay? Keisha has 3,847,204 5, 6 block shots.
And counting.
Some of these NBA niggas is on some sucker shit.
Wow. That was, yeah.
Well, another lie that we've been told, there's people, well, I'm grown. Okay. In your scenario, the kid needs the parent to flip the light switch and give counsel. Well, just because you're grown doesn't mean you don't have counsel anymore. Now, in a perfect world, you can flip your own light switch. But there are times when, just like you said, your friend needs to remind you, hey man, you a good dude. I've had to be reminded. Hey, you a good, and I've also been reminded the opposite. My sister told me one day, she said, I love you, but I don't like you.
Yeah, hey.
And she was spot on, because I was tripping. You know, but that's wise counsel.
Right.
Right? And how many of us shun wise counsel, and then all we want is confirmation?
Out of fear of being told what we are.
Some of y'all niggas is preachers looking for a choir.
Wow. Hey, a man told me one time, and I won't say his name because people may know it. It's okay to be scared, but don't be afraid. So it's okay to have the butterfly. It's okay to recognize, but don't let that stop you. That's what I took from that.
Yeah.
So it was that nuance piece. It's like, and for years, I always thought about that anytime I got into a situation, you know, from a roller coaster to standing in front of people talking. It was, okay, let me recognize that I am a little scared, but don't be afraid. I ain't gonna die from this shit, right? So that helped me a lot on that nuance piece. Yeah.
Well, you know, and you see this in the development of young men, or the lack of development of young men, because they think that bravado, they think that plastering over some of this stuff with aggressiveness, you know, I'm not scared. You know, and they puff their chest out.
Like, shit, I'm scared.
Man, I'll put a pin in your chest. Okay, all that air is gonna come out, and you know, it's like, no, you should feel that. I feel it.
Yeah.
Right. But now what we're gonna do with it? We're gonna take that and we're gonna transform it. And we're gonna use that energy and we're gonna overcome.
Exactly.
And then what you won't have to do after that is it won't be hot air. You'll develop the muscle memory to confront that fear over and over again. And now you're building up that muscle. It's an exercise. You know, my fear was a girl named Letitia in elementary school at Wadsworth Avenue. She pressed me up against the bungalow and told me that I was her boyfriend. Letitia was bigger than me, and I was her boyfriend. I became Letitia's boyfriend. She gave me a necklace, a little charm. All right, I came home. My grandma was like, "Who gave you that necklace?" I was like, "Letitia did." So,
she had planned that out.
Yeah. And so, you know, she just sit and watch me play basketball and everything. And hey, if you out there, Letitia, I don't remember your last name, but you punked me pretty good. And I told myself after that, I will never fear another woman, okay, in my life. So Letitia, thank you, okay, with your big ass. She was big as hell in elementary school.
Hey, it's funny you say that because I was just talking to one of our Sands. You talked to him too earlier this week. We got to check in and see how that went. And he brought up this specific, he was interviewing for another position in the job. And he brought up specifically, he said, listen, after the interview we had to get in this fraternity, he was like, there's nothing you can do to me. Right? So that action, that activity, you know, I always think about, and I find these places and spaces where I think about how pledging a fraternity ends up being de facto rite of passage in some ways, right? Because there are, you know, we ain't gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater, but there are some specific things that happen, and the way they happen really does prepare you for life. We always say it's a microcosm. Everything you experience in that time frame is like a microcosm of life. And that interview shit, I was scared as shit, right? But on the other side of it, hell, going through that whole process, scared as shit. Always the night of, look, what's gonna happen tonight, right? Well, fuck it, we're just gonna do it, right? And then you on the other side is like, we didn't die.
No, but you.
So what am I scared of?
No, but, okay, but think about how irrational fear makes you. Okay, now, all of us have experienced this. It's just a gang of women that's scared of like ants and a roach, a fly, and they'll see a little car and they'll flip out, and I'll be like, that roach scared of you. Right? They will jump on the couch, kill it, you know, and then, you know, you stomp on and get the towel, throw it away. All right, you can get off the couch now, right? But that's the irrational fear. Now you're talking about something that you don't know what's on the other side of it. I'm talking about something as simple as a small thing crawling on the ground that you can visually see, that you know that you're more powerful than, right? So how do they train an elephant at the circus? Well, when the elephant is small, they tie a rope around the elephant, boom, right? And when you go, they don't do this no more because, PETA done banned circuses and shit. But you would see an elephant with a rope tied around, let's call it an ankle, because I don't know what they call it, the foot, right? And that elephant, with all its might, could snap that thing like a little twig and walk away. But it's been trained by fear and control. All you have to do is tie it, and they won't move. Yeah. We are a people that have been controlled by fear.
Oof. Yes.
And and now all they have to say are a few buzzwords to us, and watch us spin. Right? Because that's all our fear.
Yep.
And they have you looking beyond your initial threat and what you should be fearful of in front of you, and saying that something on this other side here is going to comfort you. So don't sweat this right here. There's a real threat right here in front of you that you need to be confronting. And they're saying, nah, man. No,
not that.
Not that.
Be scared of that.
Yeah, right
that
there.
That thing that ain't moving.
Yeah.
Now, I got something for you guys. And this ties into manhood. As black men, we've been trained to be afraid of the very women that we're supposed to lead. How many brothers do we all know that are scared of women? That are scared of their woman?
I mean,
and that are operating in their relationships out of fear.
Shit, I did that.
Disguised as reverence. Just disguised as respect. Oh, you don't want to say that.
Honor.
You can't do that. Yeah.
Honor.
And
duty.
Men don't trifle with that kind of stuff right there, man. You know what I mean? Just man up. It's just man up. Like, that BS. That part.
I can't say that to her.
Yeah.
Well, what's she gonna do? Shoot you?
That's all you can.
And if she is gonna shoot you, definitely with the wrong one.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can leave Annie Oakley's ass alone.
So you're fearing an emotional reaction.
Who knew you was dating Queen Latifah from Set It Off?
We fear emotional reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares about an emotional reaction? Who cares? What is that going to do to you?
And that paralyzes our ability to lead.
Yeah.
Because we're afraid to disrupt.
And we also, growing up, we aren't seeing what that male leadership looks like. So we grow up in these homes and we don't witness what our leadership looks like. And then what does it translate to?
Well, there's a couple of things that's working, right? So, and one of you guys said it earlier, and it was the vulnerability piece, right? Love is vulnerability, or love is vulnerable. And so when we talk about the fear and the leading in our women, and it's like, what instances have we witnessed leadership and vulnerability, right? Our grandfathers, with no vulnerability in that leadership. They did it in certain ways where it might have been affectionate, like telling you like the pops would come grab you, and, he never said it.
Yeah.
But he showed it.
Yeah.
Right.
But the flip side of that is, at what point do we see leadership and vulnerability at the same time?
I saw a vacuum. So the more volatile the situation got, the more emotional the women got, the more my grandfather and my pops, they snatched that out of the room. They take it out. They go down. Like, they just go, and they stay the path. And I have an understanding of now that there's a way that was their way of getting control of all that volatility of the emotion, because there was always more women around than men. And so that emotion was like fire, like you said, man, that would ignite one and tip their head off, and they'd be like, oh, no. They'd step in there and absorb that emotion. Let's not get it twisted. It's not like they're not repelling it. They're absorbing it. They're steadying the ship. But then what do they do with that when they take that on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, now they've taken that on, they've taken that emotion on, and then they have the understanding that they know what that little spark can do in that space. And then now they're working to run around and stomp out that spark because they fear of what could happen in that room. And now they're carrying the burden of trying to keep that emotion quelled for all that time.
Emotion is great in the sprint, but it's terrible in the marathon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how my parents got divorced. My pops was like, moms go ballistic. Pops was, the more ballistic she got, the calmer he got. Mm-hmm. The calmer he got,
more ballistic she got.
Mm-hmm. Her word, not mine.
Yeah.
Right? She didn't use ballistic. But.
That's part of why I got divorced.
So let's go back to it though. That's the calming piece. Where does vulnerability fit in it? Like, where have we seen?
There is no space. I didn't see it.
But that's my question.
You know,
like that's the missing piece, right?
Well, if you in the situation that we find ourselves in now, it's very difficult, extremely difficult to be vulnerable. If we're talking about in a relationship space, because that's a weapon that'll be used against you at a later date.
I wrote that down. Weaponized against black.
So most of the time when I choose to be vulnerable is with like you guys, sharing things with you, different fears, thoughts, concerns that I'm having. And that doesn't mean that I won't share things with the woman I'm with, but I won't present it in that way, right? I think of it as, I'm the mic stand and you the Temptations. And you dance all over the damn stage and you come back to me, and that's how my mind works. I'm not saying that that's the best thing or, and other people say, oh, you should, but I've seen it become baseball bat in a billy club down the road, so that's been the decision that I've made, okay? And maybe it's just I need to do more self-work and maybe I'll attract somebody that's a little bit more evolved, okay? But I don't think that the upbringing and the training that most of us are going through equips us to understand male vulnerability.
Or even gives us the space to do it. And I mean, I just stopped sharing it to women. Like, you get in these, specifically when you're in your 20s, you know what I mean? And then you get into this super intimate space with a woman that you love, 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and they're sharing the most vulnerable things with you, right? And for you, you're taking all that in, and then you're using that in a space of gaining understanding.
Yeah.
So, hey man, when I do this, it kind of triggers this. Even before you knew what these words were, like triggers and things like that. You got an understanding of it. And then what do? You go ahead and reveal something in that because you think you're in the tree of trust. And then in this, you do something. It's going to happen. You do something, and there's a space where you've hurt this woman. It just happens. And then that piece of vulnerability that you put out there, completely out of context, inapplicable to the situation
Oh, it's coming.
comes back like a friggin' dart sword
Yeah.
to attack you with, and
Okay.
it's wielded against you like a sting, fortress around my heart. And he makes the analogy, you know, as I across the lands I've known, I recognize the field where I once played, had to stop in my tracks for fear of walking on the mines I laid. Like he's talking about, I'm coming back through the shit that I did, and now the stuff is coming back, except this time, like it's not supposed to come back like that, because never in that space do I ever say, man, you doing this because your daddy, yada, yada,
Exactly.
yada.
Exactly.
You know, and you only like this because your mama did, yada, yada. It would never, ever. And I don't know the dudes that do this. And not to say that dudes, those dudes don't exist. Them
Right.
dudes, there's some sucker ass cats out there.
Of course.
But the cats I know don't wield your vulnerability back at you as a weapon to hurt you. We'll do some fucked up shit inadvertently. It may hurt you to your core. We may do some selfish shit in the process of being self-indulgent and hurt you to the core.
Yeah.
But what we're not going to do is take something that you told us in confidence and then wield it back at you. And from 17 to 40, every woman I had ever been with, 17 to 45, has taken something that I had said in confidence and thrown it back at me. Now, that could be part of my choices and who I choose. And then part of that is that.
Mm-hmm.
So part of that's on me. But I'm a pretty evolved cat, and there's a diverse group of women there, and all of them have managed to do it. So what does that say?
Well, I'm just spitballing here, you know,
Yeah.
but there's some fear in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's, you have this emotion, you have these feelings, and they might be tied to childhood. They may be tied to previous relationships. They may be tied to parents, siblings. They may be tied to any kind of events. Well, the fear is I'm going to get you before you get me, or the fear is, you know, I'm going to make you feel how I'm feeling, instead of doing the inner work to say, well, where's this coming from? Okay, is my feeling this person's intent, or am I feeling something that's really connected to inside of me, right? One of the wackest ass sentences people say is, look what you made me do. As if I have the control over all of your functions. Look at what you made me do, not look at what I did. Right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing that fear does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where there is fear, which is taken over negatively, there is definitely going to be a lack of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Those two
Go hand in hand.
They don't play well together.
Yeah.
You know.